There are lots of options when it comes to home design.
Let's talk about the benefits and beauty of a universal design approach.
Today on PowerHouse, we'll look at the key building blocks of a healthy home.
We'll talk about the role technology plays in energy, efficiency, and ease.
And we'll explore the benefits and techniques for designing a forever home and building quality into every step.
We're looking to the future on this week's PowerHouse.
When we get to design our home from scratch, we want it to be the best it can possibly be within our budget and building parameters. Something more and more builders are taking into account is the overall healthiness of a designed home, how they can best make it a place for a family to not only live, but to thrive. Here to talk to us about his perspective on healthy homes is Brian Haggerty from PRK Williams Building Group. Thanks for joining us today, Brian.
Thank you for having me, Megan.
Let's start at the beginning. What is a certified healthy home?
A certified healthy home addresses three main components. That would be the air you breathe, the water that you drink, and the surfaces that you touch every day. And when I say addresses those, there's different ways to make them healthier. And the more ways that you incorporate into that process increases your level of certification that you can get toward a certified healthy home. The home you're in right now is certified platinum. It has about 95% of your possible things, it has it.
So explain to us how you address all three of those issues.
Okay, the air is a big one for us. We use, it's actually a proprietary type system called the SONA ionizer. SONA stands for Science of Natural Air. And with that said, it treats the air at a molecular level. It not just cleans it, not just filters it, it makes it truly a healthier air to breathe. It could even go as far as making your plants and everything grow better. So that's your air. And then the water, we use a reverse osmosis system. And that, to explain it simply in a non-science way, is it's mega filtered or ultra filtered. It's not like the filters you see in your fridge. It actually runs through a series of filters, carbon filters and whatnot, and it creates a very, very healthy, clean water. And then the surfaces, we try to use a high percentage of smooth surfaces, solid surfaces. As you can see, we try to eliminate using carpet very much. Carpet is just a breeding ground for dust and dander and that type of thing, and molds and whatnot. So with that, we try to eliminate that and push more area rugs and use a solid surface floor. But in the event that you do have carpet, which a lot of them want, we put in a central vacuum system. But our central vacuum system goes a step further than most of them. A lot of them just go out to the garage and they vent into the garage. Well, then when you drive your car in and you walk from your car in, open the door, all that stuff comes right back in. So we take the ventilation from the central vac unit and it goes to the outside. That way none of that is able to get back into your home.
So tell me, Brian, to be a truly healthy home, does that have to start at the beginning in the construction process?
It doesn't have to, but it sure helps. But you can take an existing home, basically is what I like to say, is if you can see your furnace and see your ductwork, you can put a SONA system in. It goes right into the ductwork. Secondly, the RO system, for example, if you can get underneath your sink, you can put a filter in. If you can get in your utility room where the primary water comes in by your meter, you can put it there, put a whole house system in. So there's things you can do to retrofit an existing house and still reach a certain level of certification.
So what would you say are the biggest issues that homeowners are trying to avoid when they're researching a healthy home?
Okay, I think the biggest issue started back in the pandemic, where is viruses. Knowing that you have healthy air is one of the biggest things people are worried about. Water's another one, and you can treat it here and make it as good as bottled water.
Well, talk to us about the construction products and processes that you use.
Okay, it starts kind of at the beginning. We use a lot of products that are referred to as low VOC, and VOC stands for volatile organic compounds. It comes in cleaners, it comes in stain and paint and that type of thing. And that's what gives you that new house smell, so to speak, when you walk into a new house. And that's not healthy. So we eliminate the high majority of those type of things. And from there, then as the process goes along, that's when we start making selections that are solid versus a grouted tile, for example. Grout is another breeding ground for bacteria, and so we go all solid if we can, and it just makes a truly better environment for everyone.
Now you're in this business, in your estimation, what would you say are the greatest benefits to a homeowner by having a healthy home?
Well, to me, it's peace of mind. I love leaving in the morning, knowing that my house or my environment is, my family, my loved ones are breathing the healthiest air and drinking the healthiest water they possibly can.
Well, your passion really shows.
Thank you.
And I think all of these components that you're talking about, it seems like they should be required in all construction, right? Now, for some people, is it a cost prohibitive thing? What is the cost to get yourself certified as a healthy home?
Okay, my first answer when somebody asks me, does it cost a lot? I always say, well, no, but it does. It's $3,000 to $5,000, say, for a house this size. And I know that's a fair amount of money, but when you compare that to the benefits of what it can pay back in the end by having the healthy environment for your family and loved ones, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Health, comfort, and peace of mind, right?
All in one.
Great. Thanks so much for spending time with us, Brian.
Thank you.
If you'd like to know how to make your home healthier and more comfortable, visit our website, powerhousetv.com.
Keeping our family safe and comfortable in our homes has never been more convenient. We're back with Brian Hagerty from PRK Williams. And Brian, smart homes and the smart features and the technology, why is that such a good idea?
Well, I call it peace of mind. You raise your family and you have your loved ones in your home. You want to know at all times that they're as safe and healthy as you can be.
So let's talk about the technology that you have in this home. Again, you designed and helped build this home with safety in mind. So talk about some of that technology.
One of the things we do is we monitor several different things, and that's through an air quality monitor. It monitors your level of VOCs, which is volatile organic compounds. And that comes from cleaning products and chemicals that you use throughout the day. As well as that, we monitor the radon. That's always important one. That's in the headlines all the time.
And you have it all in one centralized system, right? And that's a real advantage.
Yep, you can walk by one thing, look at the screen, and you got your PM205 stands for your particulates in the air. You may have a ton of dust one day saying, hey, I got to get my furnace filter changed. If you see that go up, So it's just a nice way of going to one location, knowing at that instant that your house is as healthy as can be.
And again, it's monitoring, and that's got to be a peace of mind. I know as you sit and design a home, as you're bringing that together and building it, I mean, that's got to be something that when you talk with a home builder, a homeowner, is that one of the first things that they're thinking about?
It is. Obviously we start with the floor plan, we get all that done, but when you start talking safety, cleanliness of the air and the environment that their kids are going to be in and their entire family for maybe forever, it becomes a very important issue.
And it's become more and more in our lives, right?
It sure has. Between the pandemic and the wildfire smoke and that type of thing, the air quality is one thing, and this helps monitor that. We can't do much for the outside air, but we can sure treat the inside air.
And to be thinking about this again from the design stage, first and foremost, as you get ready to build, that's important as well as you bring this all together.
Absolutely. I sit down with the customers early on, and I give them as many options as I can. I say, you know what, we want to make this place the safest it could possibly be. I want you comfortable for a long, long time. By doing that, I introduce network-controlled thermostats or overhead doors, for example, or even touchless faucets or motion-controlled switches in the bathrooms. All that stuff plays into the safety and the cleanliness and healthiness of your home.
Video at the door, does that?
Video at the door, yeah, that's all part of it. Security, even your TV controls, like, little things like your overhead door, for example. I've left home and said, gosh, did I shut that door? Well, now you can check it with your phone. Everything operates as one big computer, one big network.
Here on PowerHouse, we're always interested in energy efficiency. Where does this play in terms of energy efficiency for our home?
Well, it's what it does by monitoring that air. For example, the particulates in the air. If that gets high, that's a good indication your furnace filter's plugged. So if your furnace filter's plugged, everything works harder. So it keeps things cleaner. You replace that off more often, and I've heard you say that before, how important that is. It just makes these run smoother. Anytime it runs smoother, it runs more cost effectively.
That's always a good thing here on PowerHouse as we think about energy efficiency, saving energy dollars, which means more dollars that are in our pocket.
Correct.
With that in mind, we're always interested in, okay, I want to have this system put in. Can you kind of ballpark what it would cost in installation?
Sure. I always figure somewhat of an average house is maybe an 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom ranch. With that said, you could have all the things we've talked about probably for that $5,000 to $6,000 range. Now I know that, if somebody was asking me, does it cost a lot? My first answer is always, well, no. But I know $5,000 to $6,000 is a lot of money, or is a substantial amount. But you got to compare that to the benefits you get, the peace of mind knowing that you and your loved ones are breathing the most healthy air possible.
Well, the comfort in our homes and that safety factor to know at my home that I'm safe inside my home. Again, back to the peace of mind.
Yep.
So, Brian, again, it's really interesting to see how technology has played in terms of safety and comfort. Thank you for sharing your vision with us. And if you'd like more tips about safety and comfort for your PowerHouse, visit our website at powerhousetv.com.
So many of us dream of having a forever home. That is a space that's so perfect we want to live there forever. Now, as we age, some of our design choices can turn into obstacles. The designers at PRK Williams are hitting that challenge head on. And back with us is Brian Haggerty to tell us more about their concept of forever homes. Thanks for being here, Brian.
Thanks for having me. When I think of the word forever, that word instills a lot of responsibility on my part as the designer of the persons of my future homeowners' needs. And I need to create a safe and comfortable environment, no matter what I do. So some of the things I do when I think forever is to create big spaces, usable spaces that can last you a lifetime.
I love that. Now, I've always thought of this as aging in place, right? How long has this idea of forever homes been trending in the industry?
Well, you're right. It used to be age in place was a huge thing for a lot of years. 3 or 4 years ago, I think we kind of took that term and changed it to, at least we as a company did, to universal design. What I mean by universal design, it has the same features as an age in place, but the things that you do, the wider hallways, wider doors, can always be helpful at any time. You might have a son come home from football practice with a broken ankle, or different things like that, that you need the space, and he'll need a walker or crutches and you need space. And so the universal design home is geared just toward that.
Yeah, it makes it more accessible to everyone, right?
Absolutely.
So what are some of the key design features?
Just like I mentioned earlier, the wider doorways, wider hallways, that's 2 of the biggest ones. I put 4-foot hallways in everything, and then a 3-foot door to every room in the whole place. Maybe not a closet, but everything else. And then in addition to that, I like to have 0 steps. I don't know if you noticed when you walked in, you had 0 steps from the road. You could continue to the golf course with 0 steps. And that's a great feature. That's one of the biggest ones. Other features for universal design would be the right down to the door hardware we use. We use a handle style hardware because if you're in a wheelchair or on a walker, to turn a knob is way more difficult. Or a mother carrying in groceries, turning a knob is hard. Hit the lever. So everything ties together.
So those are some great structural features. What are some of the functional features you implement?
Well, as far as functionality, I look at obviously the simple things like I mentioned, the door hardware being a handle, but we also go to a touchless faucet a lot of times where you can just be in front of the sink and wave your hand and have your water, or we go motion detector light switches in some of the bathrooms in some of the more heavily traveled areas, like where you come in off the garage. Well, a lot of times they'll have an activated light that comes on. In addition to that, we do a lot of central vac. It's just so much easier to put your hose in wherever you need it and be able to do your entire house. It's just, so we try to think of things that not only add comfort, but also add convenience.
I was going to say those are elements that really would just make your day-to-day living a lot easier.
You're right. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we strive for.
So do all of these thoughtful features add up and impact the cost of a home?
They do to a point. Of course, a feature like the safe room that we mentioned, obviously that adds some cost. We don't put them in a traditional house because they have a full basement. But yeah, it adds up. If you took a normal traditional house, I would say you could build that house for somewhere between $200 and $220 per square foot. However, by adding all these universally designed things that we just talked about, I would say, just off the cuff, you'd probably add $10 a square foot to have those items.
Well, that doesn't seem like much when you consider decades of comfort and you consider safety and you consider the cost of retrofitting a home. It's really an investment, isn't it?
It really is. And if you look at staying in your house another 10 years over going to a nursing home, just think what that difference is going to be. It's going to be huge.
You make some great points.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.
If you'd like more energy-efficient design ideas for your PowerHouse, visit our website, powerhousetv.com.
We've learned a little about healthy homes, high-tech home features, and design that aims us toward a forever home. But what are the hallmarks of any quality home? Let's continue our conversation with Brian Haggerty from PRK Williams. And Brian, what constitutes a quality home and where does that begin?
Well, a quality home begins with a quality design. And quality design requires that homeowner has to get to know and trust his builder down to an intimate level. They have to understand each other almost like family. And with that said, that's when the quality comes in. It's easy to make something look good, but quality a lot of times is things you can't see. And that's the stuff you have to trust your builder to know it's there.
So as that designer and builder, how do you uncover and meet those specific needs of that homeowner?
Well, I start out by meeting with the customer face to face, just like we're doing now. And from there, we come up with their special needs, their designs, what their wants, what their needs are. I start out with a list, what they must have, and then what they would like to have, as well as then their final wish list. And I go from there and I start putting things on paper. We may start from a scratch paper and go from there, and it takes about 7-8 revisions, and I can get usually something they're wanting.
So you've got this quality build design down on paper. Then how does that get over to the construction so you have quality build construction?
Okay, that's where trusting your builder is important, because there's ways to cut corners. Everybody knows that. The builder won't. I think of the word forever is important to me, and when it's a forever home, you put all the amenities in there that you would put into your own home. And so trusting your builder is the biggest thing.
So how do we maintain then? You're setting this high mark. How do you maintain that high mark for construction?
Well, one thing is communication and representation. We have a site superintendent that's on site every day. And he's my liaison between my subcontractors, my workers, to the customer. And he handles the day-to-day things. He's there to make sure that they're meeting our standards, and our standards are high. So with that said, anytime a customer has a question or a concern, because things get buried, I can prove to them or show to them how we went about it and did it in the best possible way.
So how does energy efficiency, we're always interested here on PowerHouse,
sure.
How does that play into the final product?
Energy efficiency it's a pretty broad subject. You know, I always think of energy efficiency as being a 95% efficient furnace and a 14.5 SEER air conditioner. And that's all important too, but it's also down to the windows. How do your windows perform in a 30 below day? What type of insulation do you have in your walls? Because you don't see that. You wouldn't know that this house has net and blow type style insulation versus a regular batt insulation. It's a better product. So that's where efficiency comes into play, as well as quality. They kind of work together.
Final product, how does that come through in terms of the visible things that we can see in the home construction?
Well, one thing I like to say is the visible things are your fit and finish. You know, they're the miter joints, the paint quality, the different things that you can actually see and observe every day. The way I look at it is when that is good, you can kind of rest assured that the stuff you can't see is good. Like you can walk around the outside of a home and just look at the penetrations. How are they sealed? Are they sealed perfectly? If they are, you can assume the rest of their work's good. You know, or how's your lines in your utility room run? Are they straight and parallel, or they look nice? They'll work either way, but I want mine straight and parallel, and I want them to look good. And when you get that type of service and the work out of your subs, you can rest assured that the rest of the house is that same quality.
Well, I can tell our viewers as we've done this session,
Yeah.
I see a lot of high quality in here.
Right,
So,
yeah.
so it's got to be fun. Someone's, in the initial stages to build their forever home, their dream home. What advice do you give to someone, who's really set in terms of the design for their home that they're going to be in for years to come?
The best advice I could give you is trust your builder. Get to know them, interview them, trust that they're recommending. I find myself, and I usually use that when I talk to somebody new, is I may talk too much, but I'm doing it for a reason. I want you to know all your options. I want you to know there's different ways to do the same thing. And I'm there to steer you the right direction. I don't want you to make a mistake. I want you to, if it's your forever home, I want you to do it right.
Well, and I like how you say that, Brian. Again, that forever home. And again, we're thinking now people living in homes even longer than before, and the comfort and the safety that we've talked about throughout this PowerHouse show. I mean, that's front and center for you, right?
Absolutely. The word forever has stuck with me over the years since I've been doing the design work. And it's a lot of responsibility for the designer, for me, to make a house safe, healthy, convenient, comfortable, all them things all wrapped into one.
So Brian, high quality really means high enjoyment for someone moving into their forever home.
It absolutely does, yes.
Well, thanks for sharing your vision with us. And if you'd like more tips on efficiently outfitting your PowerHouse, visit our website at powerhousetv.com.
We celebrated great design on this week's PowerHouse.
We really did, Megan. We explored the ins and outs of a healthy home.
We leveraged technology for better living.
We touched on design decisions that serve our future needs.
And we highlighted the beauty and efficiency of quality universal design.
We tucked away ideas for our forever homes on this week's PowerHouse.